Alright. Okay, welcome everybody. This is Mark Bennett. I'm the owner of Answeringabraham.com. And today we're going to cover a very interesting story with my special guest hosts. First of all, Radical Moderate, and secondly, Jay Harbour. And the issue today is about a very interesting story that came to pass, reported no less than 9 hours ago. An atheist man living in North Carolina is reported to have brutally murdered 3 Muslims. This has been reported as a hate crime, a premeditated murder. Some people are arguing this should actually be classified as a terrorist act. Craig Hicks is our man. This is the name of the atheist. And Radical Moderate, perhaps you can, this is my first guest, Radical Moderate, perhaps you can tell us more about this story, introduce us, what's going on here?
All right, thanks a lot for having me on the show. Just to let you know, though, I just got a PM from Jay Harbour. He's currently listening, but he cannot come to the microphone just as yet.
All right.
I first came aware of the story. I logged on the Facebook page. I'm following Yasser Qadi, and I noticed, I got the screen sharing up. I hope you all can see it. And I noticed this article from him in which he states, let me just scroll it up here. Well, he starts with the usual, may Allah have mercy on these people. He introduced them. Dia Barak, age 23, his wife, Yosser Barakat, age 21, and her sister Razam Mohammed, age 19, who were brutally murdered today by a 46-year-old Caucasian man. He has to point that out, whose Facebook page has anti-Islamic postings and sentiments. A couple things I want to point out with this. Okay, first of all, he mentions that it was a Caucasian man. To me, that's just saying that, a racist opinion there. But primarily, first of all, this is a brutal, horrible murder. This is horrible. A family was wiped out, a young family, before anything. And I think that should probably be the focus of any kind, or the focus of any kind of sentiments. But throwing in this racial remark just simply baffles me why he would do such a thing. But he continues on. Dea and his wife were newlyweds. The entire family was well known. Okay, they were good people, all right? Now, listen to this. This is what got my attention. As of yet, this murder appears to be completely motivated by religious hatred against Islam. Yet the investigators of this paranoia and hatred, such as Fox News and its allies, will not claim any responsibility nor be held accountable at the least in this life. Now, there's a couple things for this. First of all, he has this article here. So if you go to the article, this is all it says. This is what the investigator says. Barak Syrian, I'm sorry, let me pull it up here. A suspect, Craig Stephen Hicks, a 40-year-old self-professed atheist who recently expressed, now listen to this, who recently expressed opinions online about violence in the Middle East, surrendered to police and was charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder, found dead. Okay, it goes on. So he expressed opinions about violence in the Middle East. Okay? The shooting and lack of reporting has sparked a Muslim Lives Matter. Well, tell that to ISIS. Hashtag. And many believe and many believe the incident to be a hate crime. But this is what the police say. Police say Wednesday morning said that Hicks and his victims had an ongoing neighbor dispute over parking, which may have motivated the killings.
Wow.
Okay?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So now, of course, the police go on. Our investigators exploring what could have been motivated Hicks to commit such senseless and tragic acts. He goes on understanding, that this is a very sensitive issue. They're going to determine, if it was if this was hate motivated, and will exhaust every to determine if that is the case. All right. But now here's the thing. This sounds exactly. I don't know, because you're in New Zealand. You're in Middle Earth out there. But there was a case in California where I'm sure you're aware of this, where a woman, a wife and mother of 3 or 4, Iraqi woman, refugee, was murdered, brutally murdered, and they found a note that was hand typed, said, "Go home, you effing terrorist."
Yes, yeah. That was a xenophobic, Islamophobic hate crime, right?
Right, exactly, and the media was all jumping out, and pretty much the same thing that this chief of police said is the same thing that the police in California said, okay, that they are exploring every opportunity, that we understand the concerns about the possibility that this was a hate-motivated crime, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, it turned out, as I'm sure you know, that it was the husband who committed the murder, and because his wife wanted to divorce him, the husband committed the murder, and he was just recently, last year, convicted of first-degree murder. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. So that's a few points on this, but here is his expression of what he said. This is the only thing, and we have his Facebook page saved here. Okay. But this is the only thing that he has said that we can find, or at least I can find, I should say, and you guys have gone through it more thoroughly, regarding what his so-called anti-Islamic ranting, or his expressions of things regarding the Middle East. Oh, well, first he has a gun. Yes, that's a picture of a gun. Yes, that's 1 pound, 5.1 ounces for my loaded 38 revolver.
But that's not a picture of him holding the gun or looking threatening in a pose. But it looks like it's downloaded from Amazon. It looks like it's brand new and that he's showing it off or something as a hobby.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Like he just got it and he's happy that he's got this gun. But I'm looking here. But yeah, look at all these posts. He's, I don't need government making my healthcare decisions. I need you making hers. No abortion. So he's pro-abortion.
Right.
Well, he's an atheist, so there's no reason not to be anything.
Yeah.
But just go. I can't find it here, but we have it in the. Yeah, here we go. Here's the quote. This is from the Facebook page, which I should have had it up here for this. Why are radical Christians and radical Muslims so opposed to each other's influence when they agree about so many ideological issues? Now, wait a second. Supposedly, this is an anti-Muslim post, an anti-Muslim rant, according to Yasser Qadi, right?
Right.
Okay? But so why can't it be an anti-Christian radical post? I mean, is it because he is comparing radical Muslims to alleged radical Christians?
Well,
okay, I mean, I don't get it.
Have you seen the post? In fact, I shared it on my Facebook. Let me read the quote if I can find it here. It's actually the first post of his I saw on his Facebook page, and I shared it. And here's what it says. I'll read it. I can't show it at the moment. Oh no, that's not the one. Oh, there it is. It's yes, there. It says. Could you show us the? Could you scroll to the top, Radical, to the very top?
Yeah. You talking about New Zealand?
More further to the top, as far as you can go.
Okay, go ahead. What now?
As far as you can go to the top.
Well, there. I've got a different take on Pavlo.
See that? See that title? See above the dog? See the title page?
Yeah.
Yes. Can you click on that picture, the cover picture?
So it says, "I don't deny your right to believe whatever you like, but I have the right to point out it's ignorant and dangerous for as long as you baseless
keep killing people. Anti-theism.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. He could have very well. Well, this could have very well been if the killing was motivated by religious hatred. It just happened that these people were Muslims and stood out because the woman wore the hijab.
It's not because, in other words, that he's in our camp. So our camp we could describe as the problem of Islam camp. I'll just use that phrase for now, where we actually think that Islam is the most dangerous ideology, the most dangerous so-called religion that exists today. But he doesn't take that view, does he? He doesn't. Does he view Christianity as less dangerous as Islam, or does it appear that he views them both as equally dangerous?
Exactly. He's anti-theism, or
Yes.
a vehement atheist, as the article
So to call
points
this
out.
Islamophobic seems a little bit misleading, doesn't it?
Seems to be. I would say it's absolutely misleading because, as you know, Islamophobia is a peaceful ideology. We're very peaceful.
Yes, exactly. 99% of Islamophobes have never committed violent assaults or hate crimes or attacks. We just like to quote statistics. We like to read the
Exactly.
news. Yeah.
And not only that, but it's extremely unfair for Muslims to blame Islamophobes in general. All
Right.
Islamophobes for the actions of only a
Right.
few.
I mean,
But
there is this glaring double standard that in the leftists in the Muslim community, that we can stereotype Islamophobes, but we're not allowed to stereotype Muslims.
right, right. Well, here's another look. I finally found the actual quote. It was like right in front of me. It's the second post. This is his only thing, mind you, that we could find. So he says, why are
Okay.
radical Christians and radical Muslims so opposed to each other's influence when they agree about so many issues? Here's what radical Christians and radical Muslims believe about.
Can you read us some of those things?
Yeah. This is amazing. Okay, Christian opposes abortion. Muslim opposes abortion. That's not true because Muslims can have abortions
Yes,
within the first
that's actually
so many
false.
weeks.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Opposes birth control. Well, I don't know. I guess you can consider me a radical Christian, but I'm not per se opposed to some forms of birth control.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
But
not very
okay,
plausible. But yeah, go on.
exactly. Opposes birth control. I'm not sure Muslims do oppose birth control.
Yeah.
They certainly procreate like they don't. But anyway, or I mean, sorry, like they do oppose birth control. But anyway, opposes drug legislation. Yeah. Okay. I don't know what that has to do with anything. Opposes gay marriage. Okay. Well, let's take a few looks at things. Okay. So opposes gay marriage. Christians do. Yeah, obviously we do.
Yeah.
Has Muslims oppose gay marriage? No, Muslims don't just oppose gay marriage. They oppose gays, and they
Right.
desire to kill them. Okay, throw them off a tall building.
That's a pretty unfair comparison. Perhaps because he's not a real Islamophobe. He's
Exactly. Yeah. This is not a real Islamophobe because he doesn't know anything about Muslims. This is a good point. Okay.
Yeah.
Opposes pornography. Okay. Muslims view the most pornography there is, but that's beside the
right.
point.
You can just look at all their countries: Pakistan, Egypt, Afghanistan.
Exactly.
Yeah. You can
But
Google
not
that.
only that.
Yeah.
But not only that, after they're done viewing the pornography, they have a strong desire to go and kill the pornographic actors and actresses.
Yes, and then they have very peculiar fetishes as well from those results.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Horses, camels,
Opposes.
Yeah, I guess it kind of reminds them of Jenna a little bit,
Yeah, well, don't forget pig sex. Opposes
A little
pornography.
bit of bacon and a
obviously.
ham on top,
Exactly. Let's see here. Opposes premarital sex. Yeah. Okay. We agree on
Okay.
that. The only difference is that the Muslims wish to stone to death the woman who had premarital sex and
Right.
flog the man, or vice versa.
Again, that's only a difference that someone like us would point out. Not he wouldn't understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not a true Islamophobe. Opposes
Yeah.
prostitution. Okay. Again, Muslims. Well, after they're done visiting the prostitutes, I mean, yeah. I'm not sure if you're.
I don't think this guy has a clue what Islam teaches about mutta and
Exactly.
slave captivity and yeah.
Yeah. So in Islam, okay, yeah, they're opposed to prostitution per se as long as it's not muta, or sex with their slave women.
In other words, it has to be a legal form of prostitution. Legalized prostitution. Yeah.
And when they do visit the illegal brothels, do you know that the largest brothel in the world is in Pakistan? and it's in the shadow of one of the largest mosques in the world. I think it's the third largest mosque now.
Wow. Yeah.
Literally, it's like right, it's like right across the street.
Yeah.
But
it's the same kind of culture that they have in Afghanistan with those little dancing boys and yeah.
Right. Well, I saw an interview with a woman, one of the sex workers, and she said that you know, these men are biggest after Friday prayers is their biggest time, and these same men that want to have us stoned to death and killed are our biggest customers. So in Islam, if they visit a prostitute, they have the strong desire to kill them afterwards. It's simply totally different. Opposed to secularism. Well, I don't know if radical Christians are so opposed to secularism per se. As just that we're opposed to, well, secularism. Well, anyway.
Yeah, we're more opposed to a kind of fascist secularism that is,
exactly.
or a communist secularism type of ideology. Yeah.
Exactly. Here we have. Well, in Islam, they oppose secularism because they want to install their own fascist ideology. Support the death penalty. Okay, well, I don't have a problem with the death penalty, just its implementation of it, but that we can go into that later if you want. But here we have support the death penalty, where if there are Christians who support the death penalty, they support doing it in a humane method, you know, lethal injection or something like that. Muslims support the death penalty in most vile, brutal ways of ever, stoning death.
Yeah. It's not kosher the way the Muslims support it.
Exactly, you know, throwing people off of tall buildings, beheadings, stonings.
Yes, and of course, it's too generic as well, because we don't support the death penalty for, you know, a capital punishment for apostasy.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, they're crimes that garner the death penalty are
like homosexuality, adultery.
Exactly.
So really, what we're saying is that in our position, like, we only warrant people who actually may merit the death penalty, you know, like murderers.
Exactly. And then, of course, support prayer in schools. Well, okay, whatever on that. But if you know, he can't discern.
That just seems really trivial.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, look, I mean, as I'm sure you've been pointing out, he just can't discern. He can't discern the difference, and that's because he has no knowledge. You know, he's not a.
I mean, he actually shared this and thought that this was some kind of valid comparison. It's quite interesting. Yeah.
Exactly, and
that was a fascinating insight into his psychology.
Yeah, that was on February 8th. So this happened yesterday, I guess, on the 10th, or. Yeah.
February the 8th was only like 3 days ago.
Right. Yeah. So this is his only anti-Islamic post or his anti-Islamic sentiment. I mean, we got stuff on truck drivers. Evidently, he was a truck driver. I don't know.
Even though he appears to be an atheist and an anti-theist, there doesn't seem to be any mention of radicalism. He's just pointing out what he views as Christian and Muslim Islamic hypocrisy, but he's not advocating any violent ideas himself.
Right, exactly. And then he has what embarrasses God even more than his followers, near-death experiences. And then, of course, the little genius
crossword.
This is just average post that anybody can post.
I mean, you have him. He was on a four-wheeler. He was talking about gardening, car parts.
Right.
This does not look like a premeditated murder.
Exactly. Everything you need to know about vegetable gardening in one graphic. So evidently he liked vegetables.
Oh, radical. Maybe you could find this one. I actually shared it on my own Facebook wall. Listen to this quote. This is from his Facebook page. It is official. I am a grumpy old man. I am now sure of this, as when I saw a couple having sex in their vehicle in my parking lot a little bit ago, instead of just ignoring it, I called Chapel Hill's finest on them. Does that sound like a psychotic murderer?
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder who the. You know what? Okay, wait. Read that again. Where is that at? Is that on his Facebook page?
Jay Harbour would be able to help us find that one, but that's on his wall.
Okay.
Do you know whereabouts it is, Jay Harbour? Have to scroll down to find it.
All right. Well, okay. Before we get to that, okay.
Oh yes, the one about the Queen. I shared that as well. Yeah, read that one.
Yeah. Okay. So evidently we have another anti-Islamic post. When the Saudi king visited Balmoral, the vast road state in Scotland, and got offered a tour, Queen climbed into the driving seat, turned the ignition, and drove off. Women are not yet allowed to drive in Saudi Arabia, and Abdullah was not used to being driven by a woman, let alone a queen. His nervousness only increased as the queen, an army driver in wartime, accelerated the Land Rover along the narrow Scottish estate roads, talking all the time through his interpreter. The Crown Prince implored the Queen to slow down and concentrate on the road ahead. Okay, wow, that's so anti-Islam.
It sounds more like a gentle tap on the wrist.
Exactly. I didn't know this about the Queen. Kudos to her. That's brilliant.
Yeah, good on her. Yeah. I mean, I agree with that post. It's great. Yeah.
Exactly, but so this means we got to go out.
But that isn't something that you would see from Pam Geller or Robert Spencer, right?
Exactly. Well, yeah, because I don't view Pam Geller much, but Robert Spencer, David Wood, Sam Schmuck. I've never even heard this. I just heard this, from them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But wait. So I'm
this is like the most soft-core anti-Islam position one could take.
This is
like a failed rape. No, it's not even an attempted rape.
This is G-rated stuff, dude. I mean, seriously. Okay, here you go. I'm an ally. I'm not gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, or pansexual.
Yes. So in other words, he is advocating that he is a libertarian, pretty much.
Right. Just support that everyone thought everyone should have equal rights.
Yes.
Except for Christians.
And maybe Muslims.
Yeah, he's got the picture of the gun. Okay.
Yeah, the gun. So what does this one say? Man is the most insane species. He worships an invisible God and destroys a visible nature, unaware that his nature he's destroying is this God he's worshipping. Now, that sounds like your average, ordinary Joe Schmo atheist, right?
Right.
Right.
Exactly. But yeah, now I just to point out the hypocrisy in this guy. So then he goes out and kills 3 innocent people. I mean, if anything, this is actually, atheism. This is atheism to its logical conclusion.
And as Jay Harbour is pointing out, there's no quotations of the Quran like Surah 929, Surah 9:5. There's no quotations of violent passages, cutting the heads off infidels, crucifixion, nothing.
Exactly. Oh, he's
and a dog. Wow,
and a cat. Yeah. Well, no, this is actually kind of cute. The cat will not let the dog pass. These are all pictures of the dog's like, screw that, I ain't going near that cat.
Radical, in your judgment, is this guy planning, premeditating anything? Is it even conceivable?
No.
And how recent are these posts? These posts are very recent, right? Most of it.
Yeah, we're on January 18th. Okay, so this is only not even a month ago.
Right.
Well, here we have the amount of people God saves from death is strictly related to the level of health care in that country. So evidently, nothing about Islam per se in general. We got some music. Okay, he's definitely pro-abortion.
Prayer is pointless, useless, narcissistic, arrogant, and lazy. Yeah, again, that could be a quote from Christopher Hitchens.
Right. Again, more anti-God rants. If there is a God, he will have to beg my forgiveness.
Yeah, that sounds like Stephen Fry.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is a phrase carved on the wall of a concentration camp cell during World War II by a Jewish prisoner. Well, evidently, here we go. It's official. I'm a grumpy old man. I am sure of
there
this.
It is.
As when I saw a couple having sex in a vehicle in a parking lot a little bit ago, instead of just ignoring it, I called Chapel Hill Finance. Okay, wait a second. Okay, I'm just thinking of this. I wonder if this is going to be how it's played out. Okay.
Dude, why didn't he report this to Jihad Watch, man?
Exactly. But remember the incident. Well, okay, the vague description that we have that the police said that he had a dispute, an ongoing dispute over parking. I wonder if the couple that was having sex was this young married couple. Okay, in their car, in their parking, in their parking lot. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
That's possible.
I wondered if that's going to turn out how it's the case. Which again, they should be more discreet.
Well,
but
what is
they're
conclusive is if there is any murder that took place here, it was absolutely spontaneous.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This wasn't something. Yeah, I mean, this wasn't something that. I mean, it looks like he was ranting about building up to it. Yeah.
And that is characteristic of those.
Go ahead. Sorry. Well, no, I was just going to say not only that, but there is no evidence that this couple, or this family, I should say, were targeted because they were Muslim. In other words, he didn't wake up one morning and say, you know what, I'm going to go on a rage and I'm going to kill a whole Muslim family. From what it looks like, it just looks like they were, victims of opportunity.
From what we know of the virgin, the 22-year-old young man, virgin, who was ranting against women. I mean, he made weeks of YouTube videos. The Columbine killer, the West Virginia, was it West Tech? I can't remember the exact.
Oh yeah. Actually, there's one in Chapel Hill. Actually, Chapel Hill, for some reason, I don't know, must be something in their water. They're getting a lot of these nutcases.
Oh yes, and the Dark Knight guy, exactly.
These guys had went on it for weeks, if not months, if not years. I mean, just building up to this. But yeah, there's
religion, the world's most successful pyramid.
There's nothing in this. I don't know where.
Sounds like he's criticizing televangelism and stuff like that. Chris Rock.
Right.
There you go.
Oh, here we go. Now, I don't know Jesus, but from what I've read, Jesus is the least material person to ever roam the earth, and we've turned this birthday into the most materialistic day of the year. Matter of fact, we should have the Jesus birthday season. It's a whole season of materialism. Then at the end of the Jesus birthday season, we have the nerve to have an economist come on TV and tell us how tell you how horrible the Jesus birthday season was this year.
I guess he finds that funny.
Okay. And evidently so, again, attacking Christianity. I'm going to point out one more thing, and then I want to hear some of because I looked on the Twitter, some of the stuff, and it was just amazing what I was seeing. But I'm just going to end with one more comment. Now, think about this. Okay, if this family, it wasn't, okay, but let's just say that for some reason this dude just decided to go and kill some religious people for whatever reason, okay, and so he found out, so he went and killed this Muslim family. I noticed that the wife was wearing the hijab, very properly dressed, very lovely woman. But now here's the thing, remember the Muslim law tells us that the hijab protects the women. Well, evidently, if the case is that this family was targeted for religious hate reasons, then wouldn't it be argued that the hijab didn't protect her in this case? In other words, if she wasn't wearing the hijab, there would have been no way to know she was a Muslim. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I mean, that's just a sickening thing to point out, but I just think it should.
And this is all in the midst of a, and I'm going to go into this a little bit later, but this is all in the context of a few hashtag social media campaigns like Muslim Lives Matter, where they are saying that this man was obviously watching movies like American Sniper, and he was getting these ideas, you know. Yeah, I'm serious. Like, that is a common accusation that is being made. So they think that this guy is watching American Sniper and advocating when this guy is clearly some kind of libertarian who would probably, looks like he would probably even oppose war. But I mean, there's just no evidence of any of this kind of thinking at all.
Oh, exactly. Well, not only that, he doesn't like American Sniper. I mean, he hasn't liked it on his page. You would think that if he was obsessed over that movie, he would have said something about it.
Yeah.
But,
or movies like that as well.
Exactly.
And then and then another interesting comparison we could make is between him and Andres Breivik.
Right. Exactly.
Breivik clearly seemed to be more of an explicit Islamophobe, though he obviously identified himself explicitly as an atheist, more of a cultural Christian, but that doesn't mean much because what's his name? Richard Dawkins identified himself as a cultural Anglican, so that doesn't really tell us much. But yeah, so basically, we have no signs of a Breivik type character at all. No hate crime, no intention of murder, terrorism, all bullcrap.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Well, another thing that's amazing. I mean, seriously, the hashtag. Actually, I did see one tweet by a fellow Islamophobe, evidently. He said, "Oh, the hypocrisy. Muslim lives matter. Tell that to ISIS." I mean, here you have. I mean, let's say this is a case of, well, Islamophobia gone bad or whatever. Okay, so that's 3 people compared to how many Muslims have been killed by ISIS because they don't agree with ISIS's flavor of Islam. How many Muslims? I mean, well, how many Christians? How many Yazidis? How, you know what I mean?
And do you remember? Do you remember, Radical Moderate? Do you remember the Jeep jihadi in this exact same location? There was a Muslim man who drove into a crowded area, Chapel Hill, attempting to take a lot of Kafirs with him. This is about 2006.
Oh yeah, I remember. Like I said, there's something in the water in Chapel Hill. I don't know, but go ahead.
But anyway, yeah. So this gentleman was convicted later on. He wanted to murder them, supposedly as revenge, consistent with the manner of 9/11. He was ranting about it. He was convicted of it, but no one made a movement back then on social media campaigns saying non-Muslim lives matter, even though he attempted to kill so many people. It just didn't appear to people. Why do they do this?
I don't know. But you know what? Since we have a few cases of this happening in Chapel Hill, guess who teaches at Chapel Hill? Bart Ehrman. So it must be Bart Ehrman's fault. Whatever, you know.
Yeah, Bart Ehrman, that bad agnostic biblical scholar, inspiring.
Exactly. So what are some of the tweets? What are some of the Pal Talk stuff you've been encountering over this?
Well, what I'll do is I'll let you maybe go over some other stuff, and I'll just get some pages ready if I can. First of all, this one. So yeah, I have a few stories to tell, a few encounters that I've had with a range of left-wing fanatics who have really, without knowing any of the context, completely taken this as a case of Islamophobia, as a hate crime. Many are arguing that this was a terrorist incident. But yeah, I'll begin my story. I'll change the share screen scene. The share screen scene. I'll put it on share screen soon. Let me see. So first I want to do this, and that is go to independent. I spelled that wrong. My spelling is just about as bad as yours, Radical.
Well, I just CNN's webpage. I just went to it. 3 shot in the head. Parking dispute may have led to student's death. At least CNN got it right.
They may have updated that. I'm not sure that they actually said that originally, but it's all right. At least they have Okay, okay. So this is great. This is great stuff. All right, so I'll put it on screen share. And then I have to put my screen on present to everyone. Oh, that's going to look weird. Okay, so how's it looking now?
Yeah, but you got to put it up. You got to press on it. I'm sorry, I got to press on it. Okay. All right, go ahead. Yeah.
So you can see everything at the moment?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay. So the way that this story came attention to me, I was chatting with a leftist. He posts me the link, and then he literally rants for like 5 minutes, telling me how me and a companion of mine are responsible for Islamophobes committing murders like that, because myself and others were filled with hatred. We're anti-Muslim bigots, and the rest of the story. So I was like thinking, I trusted him at face value. You know, a person tells you a new story comes out, and just at face value, I intuitively thought he must be telling the truth because he posted me the link. So I went in to have a look at the link, and what I found out, which we've already discussed, the first fact that I found out. So I had a look down here, scroll down here, 36-year-old Craig Stephen Hicks, been arrested on suspicion of 3 counts of first-degree murder. And here's the first thing that stuck out to me. Hicks describes himself as an atheist on Facebook and posted regular images and text condemning all religions.
Right.
Now that really stuck out to me, because the man made sure to say that this was a white Islamophobe, xenophobic Christian.
Right.
I mean, and immediately I see, oh, this is a man who condemns all religions. I think they even had a quotation or so of his, of what he has to say, but let me just double check this. There's possibly they quoted him on. Oh yeah. Possibly they quoted him on some of this other stuff. No, this is not. That couldn't be the exact link that I read. That's okay. So yeah, that's the first fact that I pointed out to him. And then the second point I made it to after I said to him, I pointed out to him, hey man, let's be accurate. You know, this was not a Christian. This was not a white right-winger. This was not a Republican. This was not an Islamophobe. This is an atheist who despised all religion. This is all the knowledge I had at this time. I then pointed out to him, I think this point is crucial, why is it whenever ISIS or a Muslim is responsible for a killing, they immediately disassociate themselves, these killers, these murderers, they disassociate them from Islam. Islam can't possibly be the motive. It couldn't. It's impossible. But as soon as they have an idea, oh, it was an Islamophobe, then they say, oh, yeah, that obviously, clearly the motive was Islamophobia.
Right,
let's put A and B together. So cause and effect. But they refuse to do that in the case of the Muslims, but they very easily will do that in the case of Islamophobia. Now that is, of course, blatant hypocrisy, and it's blatant bigotry.
Not only that, allow me to interject here. Did you notice in Yasser Qadi's thing that he blames Fox News and the Islamophobic media for this, and he said they will not be held responsible in this lifetime, blah blah blah. Well, it's the same thing. Like they'll blame Pamela Geller or Robert Spencer, David Wood, etc. for their writing the truth about Islam. Okay, so evidently the words that these quote-unquote Islamophobes wrote somehow inspired these murderers to go out and commit these murders, right? Okay, but the whole point of David Wood, of Sam Shimon, Pamela Geller, and what do you call it, Robert Spencer, is pointing out that it is the words of the Quran, the words of the Sunnah, the words of the scholars that are inspiring these jihadi Muslims to go out and kill. So wait a second, how is it that words of Islamophobes can allegedly inspire Islamophobes to go out and kill Muslims, but the words of their God, exactly, the words of their God, the words of the Sunnah of their prophet, the words of their prophet can't? I mean, it just simply amazes me. Just, I mean, how stupid they are. I mean, anyway.
Just total inconsistency. That no regard for consistency or truth whatsoever. Brilliantly pointed out as well. Okay, so the next, after this, of course, then, so after that, I pointed out those main two essential points to him. Then oh yes, see this picture here?
Okay, let me see.
Go to the screen share here.
Right, I got it.
So the viewers, you'll be able to see this, and this leftist, in fact, there was a group of them at this stage, and they were saying, look at his demonic eyes. Look at he's devoid of life. He's absolutely looks crazy. Just that they were just giving commentary after commentary, and then I said, listen, let's think about this logically. I said, listen, obviously the media have deliberately selected this picture. It looks like a mugshot. It doesn't present him in the best light. So I said, there could be dozens of pictures showing him in a more positive way. And so I pointed this out to them, and then their defense was, oh, don't you know, Mark, that a picture is like a 1,000 words. It tells us everything about him. And I was saying, listen, let's just stick to the facts here. Let's not go on leftist emotional tangents about how evil the man looks and how murderous he is and how he even looks like a bigot. And he looks like, and one person even said, I couldn't believe it, one leftist even said, he's not just a redneck, he's an xenophobic, Islamophobic, white, Christian. And it was just amazing, like how they were willing to just brush all rednecks, as some kind of violent maniacs, but yet they have no problem. They have a problem with us doing that to Muslims, even though we don't do that to Muslims. We talk about a general rule, and we quote statistics, and we say there's a serious problem. But they will do it in the case of us. They will absolutely stereotype us. They'll be bigoted in the way that they condemn it. But then, of course, something else came along. If you're watching the screen now, then I saw this picture. And so the first thing I did when I saw this picture, I presented this second link to them, and I pointed out, listen, in this picture, the guy doesn't look like a maniac. He's just like a normal dude on a four-wheeler here. Looks pretty awesome. But then if you scroll down, look what happens. It gets better and better. So there's the. Oh, so notice how they've deliberately posted the picture of the revolver we saw before. Which
hey, Mark,
yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you rejoin? Because you're really breaking out bad. I don't know what the deal is.
Okay, let me see what we can do.
To pause it, or
I'll just stop screening the screen for a moment here.
Okay, all right, let it catch up.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, go ahead. So yeah, so they post a picture of his gun. Yeah, so he's a gun-toting redneck now, right? I mean.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll just put this back on. Maybe I'll try to put it on the browser instead of the whole desktop. Might work better that way. So is it working now?
Okay.
You can see?
No, I can't see. It's a black screen.
Oh, present to everyone.
Yeah.
Try that. How about now?
Nope, still a black screen.
Okay.
Jay is copying it. Jay is typing in the text. North Carolina police say it was a parking dispute, not bias. Yeah. So this, but you'll never hear about this. Oh no, it was Islamophobia.
There we go. That should be better now.
Here we go. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So I just want to check one more thing. I need to make sure it's on present to everyone. There we go. Okay. So there's that gun. We saw, of course, that the media deliberately taking that gun out of context, trying to make him look like some nutcase. You know, you already documented that very well. Now watch this.
You're breaking. You're dropping.
Oh, okay.
There's a thing where you can in the Google Hangouts, if you go up to the menu bar where you got your mute and your camera and stuff, if you go to settings, is it settings? No. It's
adjust bandwidth usage.
Yeah, you can adjust bandwidth usage. Disable HD. So I don't know. Limit bandwidth. Adjust your video quality to limit your bandwidth usage. So I don't know. So yeah, adjust it. Maybe lower it a little bit. See if that helps.
Okay, yeah, I'll try that. Adjust your video quality to limit your bandwidth usage. Okay, I'll try that one. Should be. This looks like it's going to be lower quality, but we'll see. Okay, what's it doing at the moment?
Let me see here. Yeah, okay, you're good. So, but, you know, it's just like a Pal Talk, you know, the only thing, when someone's having mic trouble, the only thing you can hear them say, can you hear me now? But go ahead.
Okay, so here's that picture I was talking about. So, you know, after, you know, he was rambling about he's a redneck, crazy, Islamophobe, blah, blah, so we see that picture. And then this one just hit the cake for me. This one here. This one
yeah,
here.
I saw it. They posted his wife, man.
Yeah,
or his girlfriend,
so
whatever.
here he is, apparently. Here he is in, his wife in Disneyland. So you can see he has these little Mickey Mouse and bunny rabbit ears here with a nice bright red shirt, nice shorts, you know, smiling wife. So obviously I pointed out to these people, you know, so much for your silly suggestion, you know, that we can stereotype people and make bigoted remarks based off a single picture, you know. Obviously, this guy's just a normal guy, a normal dude. Here's a nice one. Here he is in a nice tuxedo. But hey, according to them, we could stereotype, right? We could say he's in a tuxedo, so he must be rich, or sorry, he's in a suit, so he must be part of the mafia, right? You know,
Right.
They just make up bullshit profiles, pretty much. It was pure fabrication. They were making the whole thing up. So that was the next point. But get this. Here's the crux, and I don't need the video for this point. So after, you know, we've discussed these pictures, I pointed out to them the points I made earlier. So when they figure out that this is not a white Republican, it's not a white right-winger, that it's an atheist who despises all religions, even though he's a soft anti-theist by the look of it. When I point this out to them, I kid you not, I point out he's an atheist, an anti-theist, and three of them, and this is, I really, it's hard for me to believe that, I mean, it's going to be hard for you guys to believe, but literally, the leftist comes to the mind. This is a guy who rambles about how bad Islamophobias are every day. He comes to the mic and he says, well, it's not a white Christian right-winger, but he says But so he has to explain it. Why would an atheist, why would an anti-theist kill these Muslims? Why would he murder these Muslims? Guess what the answer was? The American government, the CIA, used a mind control device.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No way.
So, yeah, I'm not, and the amount of support he got was utterly crazy. I didn't know how absurd you could get, but literally, this guy was saying that the CIA have developed technology that this guy was under some kind of mind control through a brain device, and at this point, I'm just, what the hell's going on here? And so you see their mentality. In other words, if it's not a white right-wing Christian or someone who meets that type of profile, you immediately see then, oh, it has to be explained some other way. It has to be explained through mind control, as preposterous as that is, just because it doesn't suit their bigotry.
Exactly.
Mm.
Well, not only this, but think about this. Islamophobes are generally the conservative party, right? This dude was not in no way sense shaped conservative. He was a total flaming liberal, right?
That's right. Yep.
You know what I mean? So it just baffles.
Well, he's obviously vehemently pro-gay marriage, pro-abortion. The only thing he doesn't seem to be liberal about is, well, he kind of is in a way, because a lot of liberals are atheistic, but even they, sometimes they're very mild. But he is very mild in his criticism of religion and Islam, anyway. Yeah, he is. He's quite mild in his so-called anti-theism, at least compared to someone like frickin' Dawkins or Christopher Hitchens.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I'm looking here at Jihad Watch. Evidently, CARE has come out. CARE says it was, where is it? Okay, did Craig hits on his Facebook craze? Okay. Yeah, well, he was a leftist. Okay, this consistent with the fact that Hamas, CARE, and other Muslims have so many occasions in the past not hesitated to stoop over the fabrication. I mean, they have no shame. They honestly have no shame when it comes to this. I mean, ultimately this was a horrible murder, a horrible tragic event. But to conflate this and somehow say that in America, I mean, okay, first of all, it's an insult to America. Okay, to somehow sit there and say that America is no worse than ISIS, who are running around gunning down Muslims in the street. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what they're comparing it to. They're comparing it to their own kind. And I guess because they look through everything through their own lens, and they look at their own people, and they see their own people are killing their own people, so therefore everybody else must be wanting to kill them. You know?
Oh, did you hear about that one, Rad? Just to let you know, there's 2 Muslims arrested in Australia just yesterday for they were planning to do a public beheading on behalf of ISIS. So there's another one. Oh,
really? Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. But no, that's not Islamic terrorism. No, that's they were just confused.
Yeah, because we see that religious texts cannot inspire violence. The Quran can't inspire violence, but Islamophobic texts, they can inspire violence, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we could, if we can for now, let's go through some of these absurd. Should we have a take a look?
Yeah. Go ahead. Go to Muslim Lives Matter. Muslim Lives.
So Matters is the least popular one. Matter is the main one here.
Oh, really? So I've been posted on the wrong. Well, which one have I been commenting on?
Yeah, there's the plural, and then there's the singular, and there's also...
yeah, I didn't know there was 2 of them. I am on Muslim Lives Matter, the singular one, and that seems pretty
Okay, so I'm on singular right here. Here's the first one. Okay. 3 innocent lives have been taken during a terroristic attack. Yeah. And that's still not enough for the media's support. Even though, and that's funny, it says it's not enough for the media's support because this has been continuously reported for probably about
Right.
over 10 hours now.
Right. It's on Facebook's main page.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's New York. It's
Right.
New York Times. It's CNN. It's NBC. It's even on Fox News.
Amazing.
But of course, they want to label it a terrorist attack. But yeah, let's keep going here. Let's keep going. See what else we can find. Tweets criticize early media coverage of. So someone's saying the opposite there, which is good, because I think they should be criticized for that, in my opinion, because they didn't get the full story before they went with their little Islamophobic narrative.
Right.
Here we go. 3 college students killed in cold blood. No media attention or outrage.
Well, there's no outrage when
There's
Muslims
no
kill.
outrage, and this Muslim Lives Matter, it has literally, possibly tens of thousands of comments by now condemning this. By all kinds. I've seen atheists condemning it, Muslims, Christians were condemning it. All of them were. It was incredible. So it does have media attention. There is outrage. And the so-called murder in cold blood is really not what we would classically think of murder.
Right.
What else?
Well, not only that. Think about this for a second. So, everybody's condemning it. Atheists, Islamophobes, secularists alike. But more importantly, I applaud the Chapel Hill Police Department for arresting the guy and charging him. You know what I'm saying? Would Muslims do the same? Do they support the local and federal police departments in their host nations when they investigate Muslim terrorist atrocities? No. You know what I'm saying? They say security does for our religion. By investigating the crime. It's simply amazing.
Well, look at this one, bro. Muslims' life matter isn't appropriate, respectful, but more people need to pay attention to anti-Muslim bigotry.
Well, here we have some more Muslims are killed by fellow Muslims than anyone else. Go tell them that. Anyway, that's a good one.
There's someone that obviously heard you.
Muslims
gunned down.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, seriously,
There's
just like
al-Khawdi.
Yeah.
We already went over him. You went over him very well.
Simply amazing. Yeah, I mean, seriously, it's like they're portraying this as, like ISIS gunning down Muslims in the street, It's simply amazing.
This must be one of those points. Had the killer been a Muslim who killed 3 non-Muslims with an apparent religious motivation, it would have been instantly labeled as terrorism, and there would surely be that way. Political controversy of President Obama failed to denounce it as such hours, but because the religious identities were reserved in this case, it did not count as terrorism, and the press has shown very little interest in compelling response from the White House.
Wow, wait a second. So in the one case, it is a clear act of terrorism because he is doing it for religious reasons. In the other case, it's a murder over a parking dispute, which unfortunately does happen in America, and somehow that's still again, no discernment. I'm sorry, they just cannot.
And they clearly is that bigotry that it has to be that the media are labeling Muslims as terrorists, but no one else is labeled as terrorists. Is that even a true statement?
Exactly.
I mean, what are they watching? I mean, just look at Rosie O'Donnell. Look at Michael Moore. I mean, all of these people are going on and on and on about Timothy McVeigh and abortion clinic bombings and Christian extremists, and what are they talking about?
Yeah, well, I've gotten some response. I responded to some people. This Chloe chick who said that they were killed over because they were Muslim. I responded, it was a parking dispute, and then she responded, "Oh my, that's terrible." Some Umada person that was saying that it was over because they were Muslim. She responds, it is, but it's not much of a big thing if you look at the news perspective. Oh, that was a different response I said there. Chloe says, I suppose, but with the racism around these days, report like these blow up. Wait a second. So this woman admits that what she was saying was wrong, okay? But it doesn't matter to her because there's racism, okay? You know what I'm saying? I mean, just seriously. One guy responds to me. One guy responds. Let me find it here. Kellum, your opinion is not relevant, so fuck off. My mentions, you piece of shit. Bye. Okay, so the truth doesn't
sounds
matter.
like it could have been a tweet by Reza Aslan.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the truth, facts, it just doesn't matter. Yeah. Anyway.
Let's look at this one. Vox, Muslim Lives Matter is much bigger than the Chapel Hill shooting because there's this perpetual bigotry that has been against Muslims, according to this guy, has been normalized by society. Look at this one. My cousin, his wife, and sister-in-law were murdered for being Muslim. Someone tell me racism, hate crimes don't exist.
Right.
And this is used as to support a false claimant.
Exactly. I think this is how it kind of all started out with this chick posting this.
Yes, you know what? I can actually find that post. Actually, I wanted to share that post as well. I'm going to find that later on. But yeah, we'll read a few more of these, and then I want to show you some interesting responses I reported on my own Twitter. Yeah, you'll probably enjoy some of them. I've been posting some of the more rational ones. Oh, of course, Muslim Lives Matter, of course, just to let you know, is not just the main one. Here we have Chapel Hill shooting. I'm not sure if you've looked up on that. Same thing.
No, I haven't. I haven't noticed that. Well, actually, bro, I actually got to get going here in a few minutes. So.
All right. Sorry, I can finish this with Jay.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. Where is the uproar about the induced media Islamophobia that leads to murder like this? Now they're saying the media is responsible.
Right. So the media, with its Islamophobia, can sponsor and inspire people to go out and commit murder, even though that's not safe.
So let me get this straight. Fox News is inciting violence. Why haven't they been arrested again?
Exactly. But again, pointing out that but the Quran and the and the Islamic text can't do that. But Fox News media can, even though they didn't. It just simply amazes me, just the stupidity of these people. But all right, bro. Thanks for allowing me to rant. All right,
my brother. Thank you for joining us. That's right.
All right. All right. You guys have fun.
All right. Cheers, brother.
Bye.
Take care. Jay Halber, if you're listening, I'm going to continue, and when you're finished, come back to the mic so we can continue. Okay, guys. So again, same theme here. If a Muslim is shooting, it is terrorism, but if it's not a Muslim, it's mental illness. Same concept here. Of course, no one is saying that this guy was mentally ill. We clearly saw before from his Facebook page that this guy is your average Joe atheist, libertarian, likes guns, likes his motorcycle, had a nice vacation to Disneyland with his wife. Nothing to do with mental illness. Nothing to do with terrorism either. So notice the false dichotomy, the false dilemma. It's either terrorism or it's mental illness. Both are false options. And here, this is one of the most successful ones. I'm a Christian and Muslim lives matter. So, of course, even many of our own brothers and sisters have fallen to this type of bigoted campaign. Just to let you know, just to let your viewers know, there is actually also another campaign, which is unfortunately, it's much more smaller than this one. But I believe it says all lives matter. I may be able to just quickly double check that here. Yes, there it is there. All lives matter. That's the one that should be taken here. But you know, we typically there is another one called Non-Muslims Lives Matter, which I support in response to this one. I support this that campaign in response to this one, but neither of them are really the best phrased. Obviously, all lives matter is the best phrased one that everyone should support. And here's another one. Yet again, we're reminded of our terrible capacity to reduce other beings to mere abstractions and kill them. And supposedly that's because of the Islamophobic media, who are supposedly inciting violence and demonizing and ostracizing and alienating the Muslim community. And so if you can paint them with that brush, then you're able to kill them. The problem, of course, is that this isn't the case, as we've seen. This is just purely false. Oh, look at this one. We cannot claim to live in a free country when a Muslim must fear for their life within our borders. Wow. Muslims have to fear for their lives in the United States because of us crazy Islamophobes, right? Oh, and here's that tweet now. The more you paint a community as outsiders, the more you risk dehumanizing them. And this has happened to such an extent that when they are murdered, there is no desire to give them attention. Of course, all of the statements in this sentence are false. All of them. Most media organizations are not dehumanizing Muslims. MSNBC, CNN, the list goes on and on. They're not dehumanizing Muslims, and of course they are getting media attention. And there was no murder, not in the sense of a premeditated murder, which I believe is possibly part of the inherent definition of murder anyway. But yeah, I think that's enough for now to demonstrate this point. We'll have a quick look here, and then I want to show you guys some other stuff. Serious problems we need to address. Of course, that's referring to anti-Muslim bigotry. A hate crime, according to Tariq Ramadan. He says no media around. So these people are just regurgitating the same propaganda. It's also false. And you'd think someone respectable, allegedly respectable, because he has been investigated and he's actually an extremist. You would think at least he has a public face, but he doesn't. He wants to support the propaganda. This person is so obsessed by this he can't stop thinking about the Chapel Hill shooting. I told so many parents not to send their kids to school today, so now there's national mourning for a supposed hate crime that never took place. Someone is now using this to say that religion is not the cause of all wars, violence, evil is. Of course, that does not exonerate Islam from violence. That's absurd. Watch this one. Unless your heart is plagued with hate, you do not execute 3 students over a parking spot. Of course, the problem with this, of course, is that anyone who could conduct an objective analysis could clearly see this man does not hate Muslims. And even if we granted him a more severe title, a more stronger anti-theism, that of Hitchens, you would not say that Christopher Hitchens hated Muslims or Christians. So that wouldn't work either. So just, again, just purely false. Who could honestly believe Islamophobia played no role in the Chapel Hill shooting? The key word there is honesty. I like that. Honesty. And I would have to reverse the question to this chatter. This tweeter, who could honestly believe that Islamophobia actually played a role in this? Who could honestly is the key word, after actually looking at the evidence, which this person clearly hasn't done. Says that the suspect had threatened the victims before. That's true from what we know. The man had threatened them before, but from what we know, they threatened before. Of course, it was not a dispute over religion. It was not a dispute over race. It wasn't a dispute over any of those things. It was a neighborly dispute. So again, just totally painting this with a false brush. Soon he will be declared mentally ill, confused, or misunderstood. Well, he wasn't mentally ill. He wasn't misunderstood. He may have been confused in the moment, but that's no excuse for murder. And he says, but never a terrorist. Well, why would someone who is not plotting terrorism be labeled as a terrorist? I mean, versus the Jeep jihadi who actually plotted to kill and murder dozens and dozens of Americans at North Chapel. He was a terrorist. That is a terrorist. This person had not even attempted, not even thought about killing Muslims. Amazing. Look at the propaganda machine. Just media, Twitter. It's just amazing. Anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take us to some common sense. I have tried to. I've tried to record some more common sense. So let's have a look at my own page here. This is my page. You can add me if you want or follow me. Sorry, we're talking about Twitter here. You can follow me, Mark Al, that's 2 L's, Bennett. So here's one. I'll do one better. Okay, let's look at that in context. I've seen more atheists condemning Chapel Hill shooting than I've seen ever from Muslims condemning Islamic attacks. Actually, a really interesting point. He's not, of course, talking about many of the mainstream Muslim leaderships, communities and mosque communities. He's referring to movements on and campaigns on Twitter, where Muslims don't say jack. It's the people. It's not their leaders that matter. Spot on. Where's the moderates marching? Where's the pro-victims crying? Yep, nothing. I'll do one better. 300,000 more non-Muslims dead in Sudan since 2003. Actually, it's a hell of a lot more than that. So that's not totally accurate. Another good point. Pretend Muslims are only outraged when they point the finger outside their own community. Let's keep going on. This man makes a good point. Guardian US says, in the wake of the deaths of the 3 Muslim students in North Carolina, Muslim lives matter. Again, supporting bigotry and stereotypes. But what's this? Really? How about non-Muslim lives matter? Exactly. How about all lives matter? A well said point. Hey, what's up? I'm back. All right. I'll put on screen share soon, guys. Are you ready to come on board soon? My host, Jay. The second host is preparing. All right. All right. Let's finish this up, guys. All right. So let's finish this up. Non-Muslim lives matter. One person is killed every 28 hours by Muslim terrorists. Actually, I would argue it's more than that. But, of course, Muslims don't support that movement. And leftists, of course, they don't support that movement. Why? Because it's racist to point that out. It's bigotry to point that out. So, yes, it only matters when Muslims are persecuted, when Muslims are killed. Everything else is racism and bigotry. Outrage Incorporated is going to be so defeated to learn that these Muslims were killed by road rage, not bigotry. Of course, that is a prophecy that pretty much came true. The more we learn about the case, the more that we see that it had no religious incentive whatsoever. No Islamophobic bigotry whatsoever was reported as the motive. Here's my point. The media only specify when a Muslim is a murderer. Here's a reality check. Let's have a look at this. So let's see if that claim is true. So do we see in the media only bigotry against Muslims, which I don't classify as bigotry because it's just stating a fact. But we also see it, of course, obviously applied to Christians. Man with strong Christian beliefs nearly decapitates son of Oklahoma. College shooting and Christian religious zealot. Isaiah wants to become a Brennan hand, killed him before me. Attacked a trooper's son. Attacked and killed a trooper's son. Jordan man killed his daughter for converting to Islam, or the killing of a woman who allegedly converted from Christianity to Islam. Right there. Loon Watch. Yes, the great Loon Watch. Question is, who is watching them? Because loons do need to be watched, and that's what they are. Stillwater man killed in near beheading, murder charge filed, had strong Christian beliefs. So it's pointed out he's a Christian again. Christian Ferdinand faced up to 25 years in prison for suffocating his 14-year-old girlfriend. Again, Christian. Christian terrorist kills Muslim teen in Kansas City. Conservative website, Christian man in Pakistan reportedly killed after refusing. Shot and killed by a Muslim co-worker in Pakistan after refusing to convert to Islam. Members of the crowd killed the man and cut off his hand and genitals. This is a case of a Muslim man. Points out that a Muslim man was killed. Now, of course, I don't think that's bigotry. It's not bigotry to point that out. That a Muslim man was killed by Christians and Muslims. It's not bigotry, just as it's not bigotry to point out that these Christians were murderers. And it's not a campaign of an anti-Islam propaganda machine. That's just life. It's just the media. Jordanian Christian kills daughter for converting to Islam. There's some examples. So, obviously that lie that only Muslims are identified as murderers and killers and beheaders, and that lie is easily dispelled. So let's go back. I'm not going to say all white people are the same, because this is a man's fault, not an entire race. And of course, that was one of the original tweets that started the whole Muslim Lives Matter. She wanted the Muslim Lives Matter. She said the white media is not going to cover this one up. Just paraphrasing her words, but she verbatim used the words white media. So apparently we were supposedly, as white media, people in the white media are typically responsible for concealing or covering up terrorism by non-Muslims, which is patently absurd. A few days ago, of course, we showed that a Jordanian Muslim was killed by fire. Various news agencies have reported how many Muslims were killed in Syria, Iraq, Libya. So to say that the murders of Muslims are not killed is total bullcocky. And of course, Radical Moderate brought up the example earlier of when it was originally thought an honor killing took place. Sorry, not an honor killing, a murder by a hate crime. So again, they have no problem with reporting Muslim deaths. And those who attack these Muslims, of course, are also reported as Christians and other affiliations. Anyway, what else do we have here? I'm going to say all white people are the same. We've already read that one. Why does it have to be Muslim Lives Matter? Why can't it be All Lives Matter? Please include me. No one pays attention to me in 2 hours. Okay, yeah, that's a great point. That's why I retweeted it. Now, we already went over this one. This is the case of the Jeep Jihadi. Chapel Hill Jihad. This is from 2006, where an actual terrorist actually conducted or attempted to conduct a plot killing dozens of infidels, dozens of non-Muslims. So yes, non-Muslim lives matter as well. This one I retweeted because it says, anytime a person's philosophical worldview leads them to violence, something has gone horribly wrong. Why is that interesting? Well, that's interesting because this man clearly had a philosophical worldview, an interesting one, but it had nothing to do with leading him to violence. Nothing, as you could see from his Facebook page. I rigorously condemn, period, amen, we condemn these attacks. Muslims are already exploiting the Chapel Hill shooting to attack atheists and make religious criticism tantamount to hate free speech. In the comment section of this tweet, he actually points out that some Muslims have pointed out that this could be used as a reason to prohibit criticism of Islam and other religions. And that's actually a common thing that is brought to the UN year after year. The OIC repeatedly have tried to make it illegal to criticize Islam, Muhammad, and other religions. They want to impose that value on all other nations who don't accept that value. All that being said, the victims of it deserve justice. It's sad to see that an atheist was responsible. Exactly. For libs complaining, Chapel shooting isn't being covered, everyone's covering it. We already pointed that out. We Muslims were not silent during the Paris attacks. We were very vocal and condemned the attacks. Then he says, I'm not just noticing all of the Muslims on Twitter freaking out over Chapel Hill shooting, but utterly, let me see the rest of this here. Oh, I didn't see the rest of it. But utterly, okay, never mind. Obviously, we can't see the rest of that. Okay, that's old. Okay, so there we have it. That is virtually a wrap-up. Okay, guys. Sorry that was a little bit long-winded, but I wanted to be exhaustive. It was a little bit extensive. But, you know, we want to be accurate. We want to report facts. This was not a hate crime. This was not an act of terrorism. There is no so-called Islamophobic bigotry. Hate crimes against Muslims, according to the FBI, are far less on the scale to other groups like Chinese, Asians in general. Even Jews have more hate crimes than Muslims. So the fact of the matter is that us Islamophobes, 99% of us are very peaceful, we're very loving. We do point out facts, we do point out that Islam condones and supports terrorism and supports some brutal things that are inconsistent with human rights. We will continue to point this out, and we'll continue to document what we think, what we can gather from the evidence, how many Muslims take these things seriously, and how many Muslims take this literally. And it's not because of bigotry, it's because of something I like to call reality. If reality disagrees with you, then you should conform to reality. You shouldn't make reality conform to your confirmation bias. And with that said, one last example. I was talking to another leftist. I was not able to talk to all my, refer to all the guests from before, the leftists I've been having dialogues with. But immediately upon giving him the evidence I've shared with you now, he decided to say that first of all, he blatantly misrepresented my position. He said that I think that all Muslims support ISIS. That's totally false. All Muslims don't support ISIS. He said that I think that all Muslims are evil. That's totally false. I don't think all Muslims are evil. So after misrepresenting my position, he then said that because of this misrepresentation, I am responsible for the murders of these 3 Muslims. Even after I presented these facts to him, he repeatedly, for over 20 minutes, and this is an atheist I'm talking about, an atheist leftist, this particular individual was an atheist, repeatedly said this over and over and over again. He said I should be ashamed of myself as an Islamophobe. He says I'm the one who's responsible for this hate crime. So really, either the facts matter or the facts don't matter. But for this man, the facts don't matter. Even, you know, atheists who are so, they view facts as the most important thing. You know, it's part of their worldview. Obviously, that's part of the reason why they think God doesn't exist, because they don't think God is a fact. They don't think God has evidence. But yet they are willing to set aside their own skepticism when it comes to supporting Muslims and condemning white right-wingers or white Christians. even some of their own, like Bill Mayer and Sam Harris, have suffered at the hands of these types of leftist atheists. They cannot see. So it's up to us, no matter what they say, to repeatedly provide the evidence, irrespective of whether you comprehend the evidence exists. It's a fact. It's independent of interpretation. You can read through his posts yourself. You can see, you can fact check for yourself. You can document this for yourself. And with that said, that is a wrap up, and we'll see you next time.